The bond market is crumbling and Bitcoin hits an all-time high. If you are not paying attention, it is time to put on blinders and get extremely focused on what is actually happening in the American monetary system. I'm going to give you a huge warning, but I'm going to give you the exact patterns that I've used from 2020 and especially in 2023 when I started sharing with people how messed up the bond market was. In America right now, we are going through a radical transformation in our financial system. I'm first going to show you how the bond market is in a very dangerous position. Number two is I'm going to share with you how President Trump and his cabinet are preparing America for one of the biggest financial transitions in the world. And number three, I'm going to share with you how exactly I position myself, understanding that cash is trash, focusing on cash flow, appreciating assets that are deflationary, the opposite of the broken fiat system, protection, and how to leverage. So in every video on the back end, I share with you exactly what I am doing. So you have to understand the bond market. Every single time you get paid in someone else's debt. We're at 130% debt to income ratio. And what just happened this week was unbelievable. I'm going to show you. We're first going to start with Ray Dalio. You have to study Ray Dalio, the changing world order and the big debt crisis. And you need to study it every single day. This is what helped me become a millionaire investor and a millionaire outside of investing because we understand how the broken fiat system works. Now, here's the good news. That's all the rough news. That's all the bad news. That Americans and people worldwide have the opportunity to position themselves to be part of the new financial system that is going to have massive growth over the next 4 years. And if you position yourself correctly, you could be just like the old oil families, the new technology families, and what you do with the wealth is up to you. It's all about God, family, and protecting your ecosystem at all costs. And that's what we do on this channel. So let's dive right in. On the back end, I'm going to share with you exactly what I do. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to share with you right here, this is Ray Dalio. Go follow him on Twitter, follow him on every single social media platform, specifically on YouTube, and go order all of his books. Okay. The last one he came out with is The Big Cycle, available in pre-order right now. I'm going to go get that one. I've read The Big Debt Cycle, The Changing World Order, and I consider him an online mentor and someday, hopefully, a personal mentor. Not hopefully, hope is not a strategy. So listen to what he says about bonds. I'm going to share with you what Robert Kiyosaki posted. Now I'm going to show you what's happening behind the scenes. And this is why Bitcoin is skyrocketing. This is why they're stacking Bitcoin. As you sit there and get flooded out of it, as you get flooded out of XRP, Bitcoin, these deflationary assets, the big money is stacking and countries are stacking. Pay attention.
Watch the bond market. The bond market is the basis, it's the backbone of all markets. It is the risk-free, meaning default-free, probably default-free, interest rate that determines what all asset returns are going to be. And when there is a breakdown of the supply-demand picture for the bond market, you see a certain type of market action. You see long rates rising relative to short rates. You see the currency go down. You see gold go up because there's a movement out of that bond market.
That's what's happening.
Because there's a supply and demand imbalance. When that happens, that raises interest rates and it puts the Federal Reserve and other central banks in a bind. That supply demand imbalance, in order to deal with that, when there's not enough demand, they're torn between allowing interest rates to rise and have the negative effect that has on markets and the economy, or coming in and printing money, essentially, and buying bonds in order to provide the demand for those bonds that aren't there. And that produces inflationary pressures.
Okay. So just to break that down in simplistic terms, and that was pretty simple. They are going to turn this printing machine back on because what So Robert Kiyosaki posted this, and I waited for a little bit to see, and you can pull this up, and I'm going to show you an article around this as well. He put the end is near. What if you threw a party and no one showed up? That's what happened yesterday. This was yesterday, so he's talking about the day before. The Fed held an auction for US bonds and no one showed up. So the Fed quietly bought 50 billion, just what Ray Dalio said, of its own fake money with fake money. The party is over. Hyperinflation is here. Millions of young and old will be wiped out financially. The good news is gold will go to 25,000, silver to 70,000, Bitcoin to 500K, then to 1 million. The big print, this is really important. The title of Larry Lepp's latest book is on this. Please read it. Okay. The end I have been warning the world about is here. He says, may God have mercy on your souls. Now, I'm not as pessimistic as he is. I'm excited about this because we can position ourselves. Okay. We can be fearful of this. I have no fear. God and Jesus Christ have our back. But this is some serious stuff that you need to pay attention to. So US Treasuries drop after week 20-year bond, a week 20-year bond auction. Basically, they went to go auction the bonds and nobody showed up. Remember, most of our debt is held outside the United States, 30%. Tons are held by Japan and China. Okay. So what happened is nobody's buying bonds. People, the big money is now running out of bonds into assets like gold, Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is outpacing gold and people buying Bitcoin in America. This is why this is happening. Okay. You can't keep a fiat system going. It has to transition. This is why you're seeing the Stablecoin Act. They're pushing so hard to pass it so that they could rebalance and create an asset-backed currency, okay, a stable currency. They are going to revalue gold. This is what I believe is going to happen. They're going to take the valuation of that gold. They're going to take the profits. They're going to rebalance with the profits into Bitcoin. They're going to put that on the balance sheet. You have an asset that's going to go up 50% every year on average, and you can monetize the balance sheet with a sovereign wealth fund and start to grow the economy. But you're going to see, I promise you, you're going to see more money printed than in history, because if they don't lower interest rates and turn the printing machine on to buy their own debt, okay, the economy is going to collapse. But that's the good news. They have a printing machine. But that's the bad news for you is you work your ass off. You go to work every single day and you get paid in someone else's debt. So on the back end, I'm going to share with you the 4 things I focus on and how I built wealth through this type of economy. Okay, this guy posted admit. He said, if you're wondering why stocks just went down at once, this was yesterday. We just had a horrible bond auction in the United States for our 20-year treasuries. Because of lack of bidders, it caused 20-year bond yields to surge to 5.1%. This was posted a couple days ago. Why is the Fed quietly buying billions in bonds and hoping no one notices? Because they're trying to balance this market. Okay, hence why all of this is happening right now. So let's listen to what happened in Texas.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Today is a pivotal moment in securing Texas's leadership in the digital age with the passage of our strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now we embrace a modern asset with traditional properties but future promise. This reserve not only strengthens our fiscal sovereignty, but positions Texas as a forward-thinking state prepared for the evolution of global finance.
Okay, so you're going to see a ton of states passing the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. You're going to see a ton of this. New Hong Kong passes stablecoin bill to launch license regime for fiat-backed stablecoin issuers, aiming to boost innovation while tightening investor protections. You're going to see stablecoins come into the fray. Okay. Eric Trump, he said, I hope you listened. This is just the beginning of an incredible ride. Bitcoin, okay? He posted back February 5th. Feels like a great time to enter Bitcoin. Trump told you to buy 3 times. This is not a game anymore, okay? So let's take out the hype and trying to get rich quick and all these things, okay? Let's understand what is happening. And I'll share with you what is happening. I'm going to share with you exactly how I handle this and how we built wealth in investments and how we built wealth outside of investments. Okay. When I started to realize and really understand at a deep level what the US dollar is, it's just debt. So I have multiple companies and we have money coming in, and I realize I'm being paid in someone else's debt. Our profit is in debt. So we started to really look at the landscape and the bond market and really looking at macro and microeconomics, what is actually happening with our economy and the fall and rise of fiat systems, right? The rise and fall of fiat systems in the changing world order or great global superpowers. Now, there's 2 things happening. I wouldn't fear this if you're positioned correctly, because you're going to see more growth than you ever seen in your life. but you need to change your frame of mind. Okay, the fiat system is dying off. It's going into an asset-backed type system, probably be backed by gold. They're going to remonetize gold. We're going to take or revalue gold. They're going to take some of that gold. They're going to rebalance it into digital assets like Bitcoin, whatever they're going to put inside their fund. He mentioned XRP. He mentioned Solana. He mentioned ADA. He mentioned ETH. Okay. So what I do is I focus on cash flow, not cash. Okay. I have multiple companies. We have 6 companies. 3 of them are in profit that are paying us cash. I get dividends from those companies every Wednesday and Friday. So that's cash flow. It took me years to get there, but I worked hard to build the cash flow. So when the cash flow comes in, I take my cash flow and then I create more cash flow. I focus on things that pay dividends. So then I get into some dividend ETFs. So now I have cash coming from businesses, coming from dividends. That's cash flow. I transmute that cash flow. I don't store it in the US dollar. I go into next, which is appreciation. Okay. Appreciation. But I focus on assets that are deflationary. This is my system. Deflationary are opposite of the US dollar, which is you can just print it to oblivion. That's what they're going to do. And they can devalue the currency. It's gone down almost 99% since the Federal Reserve was created. Okay. So I transition out of something that has no value to it, fake money, and I transition in things that are deflation out of fixed supply. Hence, XRP and Bitcoin are my 2 largest holdings. Bitcoin is a store of value like gold for me, and it's a bank, and I'll talk about that during the leverage part. Okay, then I have XRP, which is deflationary because it's a fixed supply. You can't print XRP, you can't print any more Bitcoin. They're fixed supplies. Okay, Bitcoin has 21 million, 95% of the supply is gone. It's a scarce asset. It's not designed to build large amounts of wealth. It's designed to store wealth and to grow wealth steadily over time. XRP is a different story. XRP, I believe, is extremely undervalued in my opinion right now. And I believe in the long term, we're talking years down the road, I believe I'm buying one of the most valuable assets in the world that has a fixed supply. Okay, so my XRP has gone up almost 600% since 2020. My Bitcoin's gone up 100 and, well, as of today, let's see. My Bitcoin has gone up 192%. So 573% for XRP and 192% for my XRP or for my Bitcoin. So I took, you see what I'm saying? I took the cash, the trash, and I put it into 2 things. One went up 573%, the other one went up 192%. And then we created the same model for our company, a treasury. Okay. Then there's the protection component. I use life insurance. 3 things that people should be focusing on right now. Deflationary assets that hold value or grow. It could be gold. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin. It could be gold. It could be silver. Okay. It holds value and it'll continue to, it's God's money, right? And then they have protection. What has always been here? Insurance has been around since the Roman days, the first annuity. It's made it through Great Depressions, World Wars. It continues to win. It's the bottom of the risk pyramid. So I protect a portion of my wealth with cash value life insurance, which takes us into the leverage component. So now I have the cash flow transmuting into deflationary assets that have a fixed supply. Okay. When those appreciate, I pull some off the table, not Bitcoin, I'm holding it forever, but all other deflationary assets, I pull it down into my cash value life insurance. So now I'm creating a family bank here and a Bitcoin bank over here. And then I can use leverage. I have an asset bank over here and a deflationary asset like Bitcoin. I have an insurance bank over here, cash value life insurance, bank on yourself. So now I have 2 assets that I can bank on myself with. I will only, and I just did this, so I'm practicing what I preach. I will only take a tax-free loan, okay, from an asset if it is buying something that will generate cash to pay it back because I want the family bank to get bigger. So an example, I took a Bitcoin loan at 14%. We took the 14%, we took the 70% LTV, took it at 14%. We bought our own general agency. The general agency is paying it back. We have 10 months left on that loan. We're paying at 14%. Bitcoin goes up 50% every single year. So I'm making about 36% on the loan. I'm actually making money on my money while I'm lending. But the only reason I would do that is because I had bought something that's going to generate cash. So after 10 months, we literally got a tax-free loan. We bought a cash generating businesses with other people's money. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is really important. You spend so much time away from your family, trading time for money to get paid in someone else's debt. And the bond market is broken. So the only thing they can do is turn this printing machine on full blast. And they are going to, because they have the transition set up. That's why all these things are getting delayed till July. Why do you think the ISO got pushed back? Why do you think the Ripple case keeps getting delayed? This is all being planned out. It's all strategic, guys. The China deal ends August 10th. Okay. We got 90 days. Think about that. They're going to lower interest rates. They're going to have to, or we're going to go into, and then you have to pay attention going in the couple of years after Trump goes on this amazing run of the golden era. There's going to be inflation, guys. There's going to be inflation. So you got to get prepared for that. What goes up must come down. Okay. That's why I diversify. So when one starts coming down, the other one handles that bucket. So my portfolio is not like this. It's balanced out. We got some protection. We got some leverage. We got some assets that go up, assets go down. We pull off the top. We secure, compound, and grow. So a lot of info, right? We got this, warriors. Stay calm. Okay. For me, it's God, family, protecting my ecosystem at all costs, and stay out of other men's business. I'm too busy working on mine. So if you need any support at all, that was a lot of information. Okay. On our YouTube channel, we have a free section. I break down all of this. We also have, if you want handhold support, down in the description of this video, you'll see a 4-week webinar series. You can go live with me 4 weeks, and I break down, exactly, like I peel back the curtain. Here's exactly what I am doing, from cash flow to appreciation to protection to leverage. And I literally give you my blueprint. I take you step by step through it. On top of that, a community, live calls, market calls. It's the largest crypto community in the world with 11,400 people. Since 2020, we have 3,000 active people on a daily basis in there. So join the tribe, join the vibe. That's in my social media platform or down below. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together.